What is up, everybody? Welcome into Reality After Show's coverage of Big Brother 27. I'm your host, Bobby Goodsby, joined, as always, by my good friends, Mr. Phillip Solomon from Deal or No Deal Island 2. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm here. We're doing it. We're killing it. I'm excited.
All right. And then we got Lauren Pratt, one of our, I guess, Big Brother YouTuber now. Like, you've been a part of the season with me pretty much a lot of it. So just as much as Gabe. So we're missing Gabe tonight, but we got these two wonderful people. Lauren, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic. I'm ready to talk some Big Brother. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. The gameplay, we are going to be getting into that because, oh my goodness, what is happening in this house?
Yeah, it's been an absolute shitstorm of a week. Let's be real. Vinnie the Lip, or we should just call him Vinnie Indecisive at this point, because that's pretty much his character trope at this point. Phillip, what are your thoughts on Phillip's HOH reign this season?
Vinny's HOH reign was almost worse than me. I'm gonna say pretty much one of the worst we've had, only because the only thing that I really hate in a game like this is when you don't really take ownership of the game and pick a side like hard. And so for me, I would love the idea of like, I'm working with these people, so I'm putting them up. And he's like, nope. Instead, I'm just gonna gaslight everybody. When they get me one-on-one, I'll cry. And you're like, I don't know if I love that strategy. I don't think it really. Okay, here's the thing. I think it keeps him kind of safe for right now. But do I think that he is playing the kind of game that you should be playing at this point to win jury votes? He's not doing that. At this point, he is not winning votes from anybody.
Lauren, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Phillip. Absolutely. If I am on that jury, I'm not voting for Vince because you are so wishy-washy. You can't decide who you're truly wanting to work with. And yes, you are able to play both sides of the house, but Vince is playing both sides of the house terribly. If we're getting into who's playing it well, Will is playing it very well, knowing what to do when. Man is crushing it. But if we're talking about Vince here, I just don't know what this man is doing. I have never seen this much indecisiveness from somebody in this game, because he'll talk to people and then he'll be like, yeah, I hear where you're coming from. And then gets all sad about it, but then talks to the next person. And then the person that you just talked to previously doesn't matter anymore.
And everyone's aware of it. Like, to me, it's a big red flag when they go, the last person to talk to Vinny before he makes the decision, that's the one he goes with. So we have to make sure we're the last one. That's crazy town behavior.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and do talk amongst yourselves for a second. I have to fix the thumbnail. I added the wrong thumbnail. So you guys talk while I do this.
Yeah, no, I think that as long, like, it was giving in Anchorman where they're like, Ron Burgundy will read whatever's on the screen. And they're like, so he can't make that. You're like, no, he won't. He's just going to read whatever's on the screen. Like, that to me is insane that he has no kind of like decision maker where they go, the last one to speak to him, that's who wins.
He's better off of not winning HOH for a hot minute and just kind of figuring it out and hopefully staying in the flow of the house. Because if Vince wins HOH, not this next one, but the one after that, his game is majorly in trouble because I don't think he'll recover after that.
Yeah, I think he is one of those few players, very much like Lauren and probably Nikki. They're better out of the HOH room. Like they need to just chill and blend until absolutely necessary, because that HOH room shows too many cards or no cards at all, which is still an issue for me.
Well, Lauren should not win any more vetoes either, because last week that was a shit show. Oh my goodness. What the hell was that?
Yeah, it
Again,
was go ahead,
I just don't think she's, for lack of a better term, earning her spot yet. That I'm like, why are you here? Like, what's happening? If you can't make a single hard decision other than today, do I want to be beautiful with straight hair or curly? If like that's the biggest decision you could make, and even so, the hair is done, and then she looks in the mirror and she goes, I should have done the other one. Like I can't do it. I need her to stand on something. I need her to be like, this is who I'm working with.
Yeah, Big Brother 27 has just been a cast full of indecisiveness and just honestly, lack of gameplay. Like, people are scared to make big moves. They're scared to take a shot at people. They want to be everyone's friends, and that's just not what you're here for. The only one making big moves in this house is freaking Rachel, and it's because she has the experience. She knows what to do. She's been on so many reality shows. She knows what it takes to win this game. And these people, man, they just aren't good at this game. It's wild to me. As far as Vinny goes, we saw a little clip of it tonight where Keanu, as soon as the renom was done, Keanu pulled him into the weightlifting room. And my God, if I could tell you guys, watching that live on the live feeds, I was live on my Twitch account. You guys check it out, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. I'm live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time. So guys, check that out. And we were watching the live feeds together, and it was during that time. And I'm not kidding, guys. It went 45 minutes of just Keanu being upset at Vinny, then realizing, listen, Vinny, we can still work this out. We can still do this together. Like, you and me, we're us to the end, but I can't do it if you're not going to be there helping me out. And I feel like you're just always going to backstab me. And this is Vince, just his hoodie over his eyes, covering his face. He's like, this is why I'm like this in real life. This is why no one likes me. And I can't be good at making decisions. And I hope you don't hate me, man. I just really want to be your friend and I want to work with you, but I don't know what to do. People are getting my ears. It was 45 minutes of that. It was annoying as hell to watch. And then 2, it was just like horrible gameplay. Vinny, stand on your own 2 feet, make a move, and be proud of it.
I taught in middle school for 12 years, and Vinny, I recognize that knees up to the chest, hood over the head. That I'm like, hey, like that's a kid I walk up to in the hallway and go, hey, bud, hey, what's going on? Like I can't, like the sheer fact that he's a grown ass man and doing this, I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. The sheer fact that he thinks he's still in his egg uniform makes me crazy. I'm like, dude, you can't hide right now. Like, I need you to man up, for lack of a better term, and have a conversation with me. I have a more sociological question to ask. Do you think the lack of gameplay is a direct reflection of the ages and the general Gen Z mindset of like, I don't want anyone to be mad at me? Like, do we think that this is a product of 2025? Now people don't even really know how to make the big moves and stuff anymore. Because even if you really think back to the Jerrys, the Russell Hansons of it all, the Dr. Wills of it all, like they're not coming in, I don't care if anyone likes me hot anymore. Now they're like, I want everyone to like me at all times.
Lauren?
Well, here's what I think. If we're referencing all the way back to previous Big Brother, way back in the day, no one gave a shit whether someone was liked or not. They were either, I'm on this side of the house, I'm on the other, I don't care about you, you're not in my alliance.
Agreed.
But we don't see that anymore, which that's the entertaining Big Brother that we want. Not to say this season isn't entertaining. I think I'm entertained because of how crazy some of these moves are and the thought processes behind them going, I'm shocked that you just did this, but I think it's completely incorrect. But I'm entertained at least. So I'll give it that. The season is not lacking in that matter. The gameplay's lacking. We all know this. I'm sitting here saying to myself, I think Will's playing the best game out of anybody. The absolute best game, which makes me so incredibly happy. This is why you cast older contestants. They get it. He's delivering his DRs. He's hilarious. The pause, fast forward, rewind. I mean, I lived for that. I was living.
I mean, I think he knows how to do that thing that like, I think Gen Zs tend to just like give too much information and they just want to talk it to, and like Will goes, it turns out you play the best game when you just don't listen to half of it. You just like let it all go. You don't listen, and then you listen when you have to, and that's all you need. And you're like, oh, okay. Like it was giving when an elementary school kid gets home from school and he's like, and then at lunch, and then at gym, and then and your mom was like, and like that's all you need. And that kid walks away feeling happy and accepted, and that other one walks away being like, I have no idea what they just said, but like, okay, sure.
That's 100% what Will does, where he listens and then just repeats back the last thing they said to act like he's part of the conversation. It's 100% what I do with my 4-year-old. Like half the time she's trying to tell me some crazy story that I don't know what she's saying, and then I just repeat back the last thing she says, and it's like we're good. She's like, oh, you got it. You picked up on everything I just said. I do it with my wife too. Let's be real. But honestly, honestly though, Will is in the best position in this house. No one's coming for Will. No one's going to nominate Will. Will is the hidden threat that no one sees. But the one thing about Will is, yes, you can play this role where, you know, you're just a lovable guy in the background, hanging out, having a good time. But he does need to win something if he's going to have any leverage in this house. Yeah. He can't keep throwing things. His whole plan is to throw things. And that's fine. I have no problem with him throwing things as far as right now we're pre-jury. And he's definitely making jury. Like, no one's coming for Will in the next week. But when it gets to the actual part where we're down to the final 7, final 6, final 5, he can't throw stuff anymore. He's got to start earning his keep and showing that he is a viable winner. He could win just on the merit of being friendly and everyone likes him, but I think he should have some acumen when it comes to his actual power in the house.
Yeah, there has to be a switch, a very decisive switch in any reality show, really, where you have to go from aiming for safety to aiming for power. As you said, those are two very different things. They both make sure you stay in the house, so that's good. But at the same time, at the beginning of any show, you just want to stay in the middle and safe. But at this point, you're gonna have to pull some punches. You're gonna have to actually get power, or else, like, what good are you to any of the people that you're working with? Like, you're just not helpful. You're not hurting, but you're also not helpful. And once it gets down to final 4, final 5, it's going to be a matter of how are you helpful?
We all know timing is everything. And I think Will is aware enough to know that eventually I am going to have to make a move, but right now is not the time for me to make the move. It was correct for Will to not want to try and go for that veto. That's the correct move right there. You know, because oh yeah, go ahead.
But my question is, do you think he has the skill to win something when needed?
We've seen the thing with Big Brother is there are crapshoot competitions. Fair. There are competitions that everyone does have a chance to win. For instance, the HOH competitions, when it's saying the ones where they're standing on the podiums and this or that type of situation where you're having to flip around a letter or whatever it may be, or a true false. That's a competition Will can easily win. And think back to where you select the next person to go. So say you win the point versus the opponent. I think Will finds himself in an Ava position where no one's going to be picking Will, and Will is sitting there towards that and it just has to beat maybe one person and steals that HOH. I could see that happening down the line.
Fair.
Yeah. And as far as Will, like, I just think he's in a great spot. I don't think he needs to win anything right now. Like, why cause that drama? Why even pick sides at this point? There's no reason for it. But he knows that this is the lane I need to go in. He's at least knowledgeable enough to realize, okay, I need to stick with this. These are my people. I'm sticking with them. But at a certain point, he's going to have to put his foot on the throttle and start playing if he's going to beat those people, because a lot of those people at least have resumes at this point. I'm not saying he can't. We've seen people win just off their popularity alone within the house. But I would love to see him get some kind of power and do something with it. And guess what? I think he would actually stick to what he's saying. He won't be flip-floppy going all over the place. What Will does, he does. And he's going to have no problem with it. And that's what I want to see. So a Will HOH this week would probably not in the cards for Will, but Will HOH in a couple weeks from now, I definitely want to see that. And as far as Rachel goes, Rachel, man, she survived by the skin of her teeth this week. Like, if it weren't for Vince being so flip-floppy and so all over the place strategic-wise, I think that if the right person was in power, she would have been in real trouble. So what were your thoughts on Rachel and how she played this week, Lauren?
Well, I think she did it well because, as she's the one that pointed out, if you get to Vince last, normally that's the direction it's going to go because you're in the ear. And I found it hilarious. Keanu's right there wanting to talk to Vince, and Rachel says, nope, I'm not leaving. Which, smart move on her part. You don't want to give any bit of time for anything to happen. Now, they still had that moment where they were able to chat, but Rachel was able to get her point across better because she had more time to speak with Vince. So I think she played it fine. You know how Rachel is. She gets some people that obviously she doesn't click with, aka Kelly. We tried to rekindle with Keanu, and Keanu, I think, played it completely wrong with what he ended up trying to do, which was plant the seed to Vince to maybe put up Rachel. Someone else was going to do that. You didn't have to do that. So you still could have had that relationship with her.
It's hard. This is where I personally go down a weird road. I'm at like what do I want to do? Because this week I loved Rachel as a player. I hated Rachel as a person. And so like it's so hard because I think that like even how she treated Keanu in the kitchen, like that for me is an issue. And I'm going to tell you why. I know that everyone's like, you're playing a game. You want to not show your cards or whatever else. You can win a game without being outwardly rude. You can. And so like for me, that's where, as we saw on NBC and Peacock, that's where I get myself in trouble, where I think to myself, if my kids were to watch a playback of me doing this, I don't want to have to go, I know I was really rude, but you should never be. Like, I want to stand as far as being like, he was not only a good player, but a good person. I think Rachel was a great player this week, but kind of an asshole. Like, she just was. And I don't think that's who she is in real life, but I just think like in the social things with people that aren't working with her, she was kind of a dick. That's me.
Well, yeah, especially with the whole Kelly situation when it comes to the hammock. Like, don't get me wrong. Kelly is an instigator. And Kelly, I don't feel bad for Kelly because Kelly was one. And honestly, what they showed us on TV last night, it was actually much worse, where Kelly was telling everyone and running to everyone, being like, did you see how Rachel handled her wine when they're talking, giving everyone praise? Like when Catherine was giving praise to Vinnie and then she just slammed the bottle down, all that. I don't think Rachel even thought twice when she was doing that situation. Honestly, they all had a little alcohol in them, so it might have been a little tipsy. Who knows? But for Kelly to just go around and start saying that, even Ava on the live feeds was like, yeah, she did kind of handle that a little bitchy with the bottle. But like, honestly, the way Rachel reacted in that situation, because it got back to her that Kelly had been saying all these things about her and talking crap, and then Kelly wants to go up and get a hug or just be all nicey nice. Like, I don't blame Rachel. I don't blame her for being kind of bitchy about it. Like, I would be too. I'd be like, bro, you were just talking about me 5 seconds ago, and now you're trying to come over here and be like my best friend and give me a hug and sit by me and all this stuff. I don't want to be around you.
What we do know with Rachel is she can't do fake. That's her problem. She really can't. And so Kelly should know better. Like, you clearly know what you're doing, what you're going around saying to people. And the fact that you want to go give Rachel a hug, she knows for a fact what you have been saying and doing. She's not giving you a hug. And I get what she's talking about, Rachel being, I'm sick of the kumbaya. I get it. I want people to go at each other, but in the correct way. It's funny when people fight, but not when it gets like beyond a certain level. But we do want to see people still go at each other. And I get where you're coming from, Phillip, in the kitchen. She didn't have to be that way. But we know this about Rachel. That is one thing that she has a weakness with that. She just could have been, she didn't have to be nice, but she just could have been more cordial with the situation.
Yeah, I mean, not to go into Australia versus the world overlap, but Rachel and Parvati have this weird gaslighting thing where we saw Parvati get caught twice and be like, how could people do this to me? And you're like, well, actually, that was true. If you watch it back objectively as a viewer, I love Rachel, but they were giving each other like compliments and lifts up or whatever else. And even in her confessional, she was like, oh God, I hate this. And she eye rolls and says, more wine, please. Like, we know what that means. If that were to happen at a table that we were at, we'd be like, oh, so we're not going to do this? Okay, cool. So technically, Kelly wasn't wrong. Was she playing a dangerous game by pointing it out to everyone? Sure. But like, again, gun to my head, I can't say she was wrong. She wasn't lying. It happened as she said it happened. I wouldn't have been like, hey, I just want to make sure that you saw. But it did happen that way technically.
But that's when you keep it to yourself, right?
Agree, Bobby? Agree. Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. You should keep it to yourself. But like you said, Lauren, that's just not Rachel. That's never been Rachel. We go back from Rachel season 12, and that was not Rachel at all. I think this version of Rachel has gotten a lot better at that than we saw in 12 and even 13. But this version of Rachel is still not going to be completely nicey nice. Like, she's going to say it as she says it, and she's going to, go all in on it. If she believes on something, she will let you know it. But I feel like the version of Rachel we're getting on Big Brother 27 is definitely a watered down version because she realizes she has this big target. But I think she's gotten to a point in this house where She knows she's a target. She knows she's got these people that are on her side 100%. So she can let her guard down a little bit and be that person that she used to be if she needs to be. Like, I don't think it's something she necessarily thinks about. I think that she just reacts sometimes. And I definitely agree. She should hold her tongue sometimes and maybe not let it get to her as much. But I think she's getting comfortable in the house a little bit. And she's just like, I'm not going to play nice anymore.
There is not a single adult in the world that I would let speak to me how she spoke to Keanu and said, you can just turn around and make your little eggs. I was like, oh, you want to die? Cool, great. Like that for me. I'm like, then we're doing this. Okay. But like, I'm sorry. And there's just not an adult that I would allow that from. And at least, like, again, I could be mad at you. I could not speak to you. I could even just say, excuse me. And you'd be like, hey, about that. And I'd be like, excuse me, and walk away. And it's done. Like, I was upset without having to be like, you can turn around and make your little eggs and do it. I'm like, okay, all right. Like you can ignore Kelly without saying, oh, you're about to sit down. I was going to sit there. Ooh, sorry. Like, it's giving Mean Girls for no reason that I was like, Rachel, you have the upper hand. Like, you have all the things. Kelly just has this. And I'm not saying you have to like embrace her, but like, you don't have to single-handedly like make the situation worse.
But I will also say too, and I get where you're coming from, Kelly's not aware at all, which I don't understand. I'm like,
no,
not
even
honey, girl, what are we doing here? Like, how do you? Because she's sitting there. I genuinely don't know what I did or what I said. I don't think she realizes how she comes across to people. It's alarming to me that you would even think, I'm just going to go up and try and give everyone a hug goodnight. First of all, some people don't like to be touched. Let's be clear here.
Yeah.
They don't want to be touched every single night and hugged. It's just not it for everybody. I don't get Kelly's gameplay whatsoever.
I still don't even really understand her plan of like, go up on the block the first 8 weeks, then cry about it. I was like, what's happening here? And she's like, because then that's going to build a resume. I was like, no, girl, that resume is still empty. Like, it's still okay. Other than winning competitions, that makes sense. But as far as all the other like weird social things that she's tried, all a flop. Every last one.
And that's the thing. Just to put a little bow on the Rachel thing, that's what makes Rachel Riley, right? Like, that's what makes this season entertaining, is because we get to see, even though it comes off a little mean girly, I completely agree with you, it at least makes for good TV. Otherwise, if we had just a bunch of people sitting around playing like Lauren, then we would have not compelling TV at all. So I will take the sass and the mean girling to an extent. I don't think you should go overboard. But what we saw the last couple of nights, I can deal with that on my screen because at least it's something to watch. It's a little entertaining. Now, I do want to go back to Kelly, though. Kelly winning another Blockbuster tonight. I mean, for someone who is so socially clueless to how they come across and even their position in the game, to be honest with you, she keeps pulling it out. She keeps saving herself. She keeps finding a way. Like, Kelly can't win an HOH to save her life, but she can win these Blockbusters whenever she needs to. And we got, maybe one more week left of Blockbuster? I think once jury hits, I think that's when Blockbuster goes away. So she's really going to have to start winning actual competitions, not just the Blockbuster to save her, because that's not going to be around for much longer.
I'm ready for the Blockbuster to go, honestly. It's getting just a little stale to me because it changes the game dynamic, which I think they're trying to do that, trying to make it fresh and new. But the only issue is then a backdoor is super, super hard. And we love a good backdoor. That's what we live for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I do like a good backdoor, but I think that I will say I like the fact that they added Blockbuster as a recurring thing for the show, because I like going into Thursday night with some sort of mystery as to who's going home. It's not like we're watching the live feeds on Sunday and it's already been determined, okay, this person's gone no matter what, the week's over. Now it's just, sit and wait for 3-4 more days before the eviction episode to watch it play out. Like, yes, we do get some very entertaining backdoors that happen when we didn't have the Blockbuster. But with the Blockbuster, at least we go into Thursday night being like, it could be this combination, it could be that combination. What's going to happen? Even on my Twitch stream tonight, we were talking about how we were hoping it was Catherine versus Kelly because we wanted to see where the votes would go. And if it was a tie and it came down to Vince, how would Vince react to having to be in that, how insecure he is with how he has to show his cards? How would that play out? So I like the fact that there's mystery going into the Thursday eviction. It's not set in stone, and people have a chance to, at the last second, save themselves. Like, don't get me wrong, the back door is fun and all that, but I like people being able to fight for their lives and save themselves on live TV at the last second when everyone was against them. That makes for entertaining TV to me. Phillip, what do you think?
I think that it's exciting. It's a little dangerous that it's still live TV, and we're all like, okay, because we've seen this challenge done before, and when they introduced it, I was initially like, they can't do this on live TV because it took the group last time. I don't know whether it was last season or a couple seasons ago. It took them hours. But then I realized that they had the outlines now. Remember when they had to make this work without the outlines? And it was just like trying out different angles for hours and hours. And I was like, why are they doing this one on live TV? Yeah. So I will say I do love the fact that they almost made it into a multiple choice. They gave them 3 different versions of the same angle. So at least they had some options there. But do I think this one necessarily took skill enough to save you in the game? Probably not.
Yeah, Lauren?
Right. It's not like the one that we saw where you had to match the colors on each stand and everything, because that's really big time puzzle braining right there. Yeah. So, and it kills me where someone else could have won that and they missed it like 3 different times. That's still hilarious to me. But can we please talk about real quick Lauren and Ashley having the conversation with Ava in the bed? This is what I'm talking about with the gameplay. How do you not check and see who else is in the room before you start chatting with another individual about the game?
This to me is a design flaw. I brought it up from the beginning. I hate the bunk bed room. I don't think it lends itself well to productions, to cameras, to the shots that you need, where it's just in the normal Big Brother room with all the beds around. That's where you see those big alliance meetings happen. And now they can't have those. Let's just say they wanted to have, remember every other season before this, if they had an alliance meeting without and they weren't in alignment with the HOH, they'd have it in one of those rooms. So we could see everyone sitting around in a circle and all that. But now they've made that physically impossible. So I hate that entire room because there's so many nooks and crannies that there's not a single camera shot that can get the whole room.
The crazy thing too is it happened multiple times in this episode, where early in the episode we see Ashley saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'm going to wholly vote for Kelly over you. Don't worry at all." Kelly's just laying right there, and Catherine's just you see this? Oh crap, and then runs out of the room. And then we have it again with Ashley, this time with Lauren talking about going after Ava, and Ava's laying there listening to the whole thing. It's just, honestly, make it all bunk beds, in my opinion. Because if we're going to continue to get moments like this, great. I mean, it's beyond obvious. If you have to, go look in each of the beds and make sure no one else is in there. It's really not that hard. It takes all of 10 seconds. Or guess what? Even better, go into a room that's not someone's bedroom. You have a gym that freaking people go in and talk to where there's no one in there. Go in there.
The backyard. Well, and also my favorite part was Lauren going back into the room. Yeah. I was laughing from my couch because she stops and goes, oh shit, wait. Did I just have a conversation about somebody that I might be eliminating? Let me then go back in the room and stare at the person in the bed for more than 5 seconds.
I have to be team Lauren on this because I need you to think about this. For the normal anxious person, if I was Lauren, I wouldn't be able to sleep that night not knowing if Ava was ever in the room. So if I could go back and just be confirmed in the room, I'm going to do it. So at least I know how to move afterward. But if I never went back to the room, then I would never know. And that would make me nuts.
You know what she should have done? She should have gone back in there. And once she realized, oh shit, Ava is actually laying in there, be like, hey, Ava, did you hear all the stuff Ashley was just saying about you? We got to nip this in the bud. She's actually, she was trying to get me to turn on you. And I knew you were here the whole time. I just didn't want to say anything. That's 100% what you should do in that moment, because save yourself and throw someone else under the bus.
Literally, this group is so bad. I'm surprised she didn't run in and be like, and that's what we said on opposite day and leave. Like they're so bad that like that was a normal thing for them. And I know that Lauren would have said something like that and been like, yes, nailed it. And we'd have been like, nope, not a thing, not a thing.
I mean, I have to hand it to her. That's the most entertainment I think we've gotten from Lauren. So I'll take it.
It is. That was her highlight of the whole season.
It was.
No. Honestly, my Lauren highlight from the entire season did come tonight, and it was her staring at her own reflection for 30 seconds. I lost my shit. That she was like, "Oh, I'm still pretty, everyone," and I was like, "What's happening right now?" Dramatically staring into the camera alone. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
this is insanity.
They went from people actually talking strategy or having like some kind of conversation to just Lauren in a mirror, like looking at her. So I'm like, cameraman, what are we doing here, production? Like, put it on the people talking about the game.
And they're like,
stuff.
this is who should go home. This is who I really hate now. And Lauren's like, should I get bangs? And we're like, what is happening in this house?
So as far as this week, going into next week, who do we think is in the most trouble? And who do we think should be trying to go for power this week? I'll start with Phillip. Go ahead.
I think Keanu needs to win because now Rachel's on his ass again and he has no other option. And like, I like Keanu. I would love to see a Keanu HOH just because I think that will help draw the line in the sand as far as the house is concerned a little easier.
Lauren?
So my meter of Keanu keeps going up and down. Love you. Not sure. What the fuck are you doing?
Fair.
Because he does something so well, and then something then goes so poorly. So where you think you're getting somewhere, and then we're just end up getting nowhere. If Keanu were to win, I think he's not afraid to take a shot at people. I think you're going to get big time players up on that block. So I believe that will truly happen with him. I just hope that if he's saying to everyone, take the shot at Rachel, he better take the shot at Rachel. Not that I necessarily want that to happen, but if you are sitting in that chair, man, and you do not take the shot at Rachel, you are so hypocritical.
The problem with Keanu is he'll go and get information from Rachel, and Rachel will be like, listen, Keanu, this is what's happening. You got to pay attention to this. No, Rachel, you're blowing that out of proportion. You don't understand. You're just not really thinking about the game. Then he will get the same exact info from Vince that Rachel just gave him, and he'll be like, oh man, I never thought of that. You're right. We gotta nip that in the butt. We gotta do this. He literally will not listen to the women in the house. And I think it's, an unconscious bias that he has, and he might not even realize he's doing it. But when the men say something, it's 100%. That's what is real. That's 100% true. We got to go with that. And when Rachel tries to do it, or another woman in the house tries to do it, it goes in one ear and out the other. And I really don't think he's doing it on purpose. I don't think he's doing it maliciously. I just think that he has an incoherent bias that he doesn't understand that he has. And so I hope that I wish he would be able to change that, but I don't think he's going to be able to rectify that in the house. And as far as Keanu, I'm with you, Lauren. Like, 1 minute I love the guy and I'm rooting for him. I'm like, yes, Keanu, you're doing so well. Like, I'm really excited to see what Keanu would do. And then the next, it's like, bro, you are blowing up your whole game right now. What are you doing? Like, none of this makes sense. So I would like to see a Keanu HOH. I'm completely in agreement with you guys, because I think the Rachel and Keanu aspect would be just a spectacular week, especially right before eviction, or before jury. But I also want to see Rachel get power again. But I'm kind of on the fence too, where I want to see Morgan. So there's a few people I want to see win. What did Jesse Michael say?
There you go.
He would take a shot, but I agree. If he had to put up 3 players immediately, he'd be like Rachel, Morgan, Mickey. And to me, I'd be entertained. I don't know if I agree, but I don't have to agree. I'm a viewer. Entertain me. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Can I ask something here? Is Mickey a big time player now? Because I'm sorry, she's not playing the game that well. I
She's
don't
not a
see
big
her
time
as
player, but I know that she annoys him. That's it.
that's it. That's it. I don't think she's one of the top ranks anymore. She
No.
started off super, super hot and then just pissed people off because, again, she is not realizing how she's coming across, how she's speaking to people. I mean, you saw the whole bathroom situation between her and Morgan. It did not hit or land well. It was not good. And then you have Will and Ashley and Rachel standing there. Mickey said, "Am I the crazy one? Like, tell me if I'm crazy." Which, of course, they're not going to tell you that. But in their mind, are they thinking that? Absolutely.
And Mickey is a massive house target. Like anyone getting the power, I think Mickey is 100% going on the block. Like I don't think Mickey has any chance of avoiding the block unless she wins HOH this week. And honestly, she could be a lot of people's actual target. I think Rachel is one of those ones that could be some people's actual target. But I think Mickey is pretty much consensus everyone wants out of this house. The problem is Mickey's not a good player because she does talk a lot of shit, and then all of a sudden be 1 second, oh, I want to go after this someone, we have to go after this person, blah blah blah, and then the next minute when it doesn't go her way, oh, we're best friends and I would never come after you. It's just too wishy-washy. Very similar to Vince. I think Vince is on a lot of people's radars after this week because people are pissed that he was so wishy-washy, and just pick a lane and stick with it. Because if you're contemplating all week, do I go with this side of the house or this side of the house? Well, then it doesn't matter what you do because both sides of the house, one can't trust you because you put their side up, and the other side's like, well, why was it even a question? Why did you even contemplate that was a realistic option for you? Now I don't feel like I can trust you because you actually thought it could be something you would do. So that's why it was such a brutal week for Vince. So as far as Mickey, though, Mickey just talks so much shit and then acts like she's your best friend the next minute. I think that the only reason why she's a decent player is because she keeps saving herself. This is back-to-back weeks where she was the number one target going to go home, and she saved herself multiple times. That's why she has win equity, because she has needed a win in a crucial moment and has pulled it out.
Yeah, I think she thrives in the middle. I think that she just has to stay there. She can't be too high or too low because we've seen her act out when she has power, and we've seen her act out when her back is up against the wall. So she just like has to exist in the middle till there is no middle anymore.
Yeah, go ahead, Lorden.
So I want to mention something with Kelly here. If Kelly were to win HOH, I just don't know what people are going to do. Are they going to go up and try and like kiss her ass? You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have anybody. Like, she won't put up Keanu, but who is she? Yeah. Who is she putting up? Who is she saving? I don't even know where her mindset is because we have no idea as viewers what she would even remotely do if she won HOH. So I kind of would want to see it, but also I don't want to see it because I'm kind of ready for Kelly to go.
Pretty sure Kelly would go after Rachel, Vince, and Mickey. I think those would be her three. If I had to say anything, that's what I would think, because one, she doesn't trust Vince anymore. She thinks that Vince has thrown her under the bus numerous times, that she knows she can't play with him, and she wants to take the shot at him since he's put her up multiple times now. And Rachel, she just doesn't have a good relationship with. She always talks shit about Rachel. As much as Rachel is mean girling her, she talks a lot of shit about Rachel. So realistically, they're just going after each other, and they're not going to be friends.
But Vince could cry his way out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? I could picture that now and being like, and I think Kelly would fall for it. Let's be clear here. We're talking about Kelly, folks. I think if Vince goes in with the whole crying situation, he might find a way to stay off that block.
Listen, I know Kelly, and you're not wrong. She's going to look right at that camera and go, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 11 times, I won't nominate you this week. And you're like, what? Why? It makes exactly no sense. But you know, we all have that friend that's like, well, he's not faithful and he cheats on me every day and steals my money, but my hoodie's in his car, so I should go with it. And you're like, no, you're not hearing what's happening here. She has a really weird view. And like, it almost comes when you're, you know, when you're too desperate for friends, you lower your standards. That's what it's like. That I'm like, would you let anyone in the real world treat you like this? If the answer is no, then he goes up, done.
The problem is, I don't think Kelly in the game is very different from Kelly in the real world. Like,
so
Kelly,
so sad, so true.
But like, Kelly is just, maybe it's the small town thing that she comes from. Maybe not a lot of people, maybe not a lot of friends, but like, and I don't want to assume. I just am saying from my recollection on the TV and on live feeds, I don't think that Kelly is very different from what we're seeing on our television screens. And I think that's just a social, I don't even know the right words to put it, but a lack of socialization, right? Like she wasn't in a town where she had a big community or even people of different races, genders, what have you, you know, like it's like, it was pretty much just what she saw, this farm town and the small amount of people. And I think that that really can have a toll on someone's social ability, even as they get older. Right. And that's just my 2 cents from someone watching on the television screen.
No, you're not wrong. She pretty much said like, my best friend is a sheep. And we're like, oh no, this is not going to end well. And like, I think when it comes to, for her specifically, nonverbal cues and general like use of sarcasm and humor. Like I know whenever she says something, I have to be like, okay, what's she trying to say? And I'm like, oh, I understand, but it didn't land. It's not landing, but I do know that her intentions are pure. I don't think there's a bad bone in her body. I just think like, again, in coming from a town that small into a situation this big where there are also people coming at you, it's hard to know when to joke and when to use sarcasm and when to do this and when to say that. And I just think she's learning a very harsh lesson that I think if maybe she was from, let's say, New York or LA or Miami, she wouldn't have half the issues that she has.
Yeah.
Which is why she's a perfect cast choice, because you want people that are going to give you that dynamic that somebody else is not going to be able to give you. If you having someone in there, big city, big town, she's the small town. What is she going to do? How she's going to adapt to the people that she's in the game with? How is she going to be in the social situations? And this is what we're seeing, how she is in the social situations. And it's not getting any better, honey.
I will take a Kelly over a Catherine or a Lauren any day, because at least for me, I was like, I know what Kelly probably brought. Number one, her best friend is a sheep. So like, there's that. And like, also she's like, I'm like, quirky from a small town and I've never been around. And so like for me, even if I don't love her personally, I'm like, I get it. Mm-hmm. On these reality show like auditions and applications and stuff like that, it has to be like, are you marketable? Can we take you in 8 words and describe you to the whole audience? And with her, you can. You're like, yep, I understand it. With Lauren, I'm like, she is a brunette. Sometimes she's a brunette. She looks beautiful. And sometimes she wears sweatpants and she still looks beautiful. That's all I got for you. Like, I don't know.
Well, she was cast to be in a showmance, and a showmance didn't hit with her. So once you lose that for the casting, that's the problem. There's certain people that you put on the show because they want showmances. People love it. That's their big brother label, if you will. And so then when she didn't follow through with doing a showmance, she doesn't have anything to offer to the table now.
Yeah. And as far as Kelly goes, what do you guys think her win equity is? Because like, I really think that Kelly still has some win equity because of the fact that she has saved herself now numerous times where she was in real trouble and was able to pick herself up and get herself off the block. However, her social game, horrible. Her strategic game, horrible. I know a lot of people in this house look at her as someone they want to get rid of because she has won so many times and they think that she is a comp beast, even though it's kind of a crapshoot sometimes. But I think that a lot of them should drag her to the end because who's going to vote for Kelly? Who's going to vote for Kelly? Like, yes, she saved herself. I mean, I think there's some people that can't beat Kelly just because they haven't done enough. Like a Lauren, can a Lauren beat Kelly? I don't think so. But can a Rachel, even a Mickey, can a Morgan, like even Keanu could beat Kelly. So like they should be wanting to work with Kelly or pick her up as a number, but they just keep burning her because I think a lot of them stand a good chance against Kelly.
I think if, let's say, I was Kelly's PR person, I'd be like, okay, here's how we do this. We have to eat crow and admit that things have gone wrong. I think she can do it one-on-one. Her problem is she tries to approach like, okay, imagine like any weird, nerdy girl in a 2000s movie trying to approach a group of like popular football players and cheerleaders. It doesn't go well. But I think if she speaks to people one-on-one and it's just like, I'm feeling outcast. I'm feeling on the outside. Are you seeing anything that might be able to help me out? And she, even if she doesn't listen to the advice, she at least opens that door for people to feel like they have some equity in her and some ownership over her doing well in the game. I think that's how she would have to play it in order to have a path to the win. I don't think she would in any way benefit from like a big group of 3 or 4, because as soon as she walks away, they're going to talk mad shit immediately. So I think like she has to go one-on-one to turn their opinion slowly so that then when they come back together, they'd be like, you know what? I don't think she's that bad.
So I think here's the biggest problem I have with the situation regarding
glasses.
her.
No.
What?
I said her glasses.
Oh, the glasses. Well, honey, take them off then. Let's see. I don't know. That maybe you do your big reveal if you make it to the end of the game. Take those glasses off. Show these people what you did. Why should you be the winner of Big Brother 27? She has to be able to highlight the moves that she did, the risks that she took. I don't see her having the speech to get it done. That's where I'm lacking on her. Do I think she could get to the end? Sure, absolutely. But I don't know if she can sit next to somebody and claim all these different moves and have that bold statement to the jury. This is the last thing the jury is hearing before they are casting their vote on who to win. And you have to be able to bring it there and highlight so many different small things, even subtle things potentially. And I don't know if she's going to be able to pull that out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I think that she has some win equity just because she saved herself so many times. But the social lacking thereof and the strategic lacking, I don't know. And like you said, Lauren, I think it's a great point. I don't know if she'd be able to defend herself in those final 2 chairs to explain why her game is better than anyone else's. So let's see here. Who we got left? So we got Morgan and Mickey. Obviously, Morgan was trying to take her shot all week, trying to get Mickey out. I love the scene we got last night where they come back in from her winning the veto, and they're all like, oh, yay, we're all jumping around and happy and stuff. You could just tell Morgan, even when she walked in there and she realized, oh, wait, they're all pretending to be happy. Okay, I got to act like it now. And she didn't want to, but she did it anyways. And I love that we get from Morgan, at least in the diary rooms, okay, I'm not happy. Like, I'm acting happy, but I'm not happy on the inside. Like, great, tell us this. Like, that's why I want to see Morgan in power, because I think Morgan would take the shot at Mickey and show her true cards. I don't think she would flippy flop. I like we saw all week with Vince. And if anything, it means Rachel's safe for another week. So that's what I'm here for. I want to see a Morgan HOH. I want to see what she would do with it. You guys,
I think somehow we need like a hard game reset. I don't know how, but I just think like, remember when they split the cast into that like inside and outside thing last year, and they played like 2 different games?
Yeah,
it has to be something extreme like that to really just reset the game, because I think that this game is 6 feet under. I think that they're all under the dirt, just breathing with a straw up to the top. Like, it just, after a while, you're like, wait, it's not until you really like analyze it like this, you have to ask yourself, am I actually enjoying this, or am I just watching it because I always watch it? That to me is an issue. When you're like, this game needs a definite just like refresh, reset, and hate each other again and start over, because I don't know what's happening here.
That's where you get your Lauren HOH. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think that as far as like last year when we had like the janky week or whatever, first off, I don't think they can do it right now in Southern California, because we're going through a bit of a heat wave right now where it's like 100 plus. So I think that would be serious situation for some people. Actually, today it rained. It was weird. We have a tropical storm going through right now, and it was raining all day. And then tomorrow's supposed to be back to like 100 degrees. It's like, what is going on right now? But I hated the janky week. I'll be honest with you. I hated it. I thought it was
I absolutely hated it as a viewer, but it was a nice little reset of us being like, okay, now let's come right back together and try again.
Yeah. I mean, I think that depending on who gets into power, I think a lot could shake up this week. And especially with the last spot before jury being up on and someone's gonna be kicked off right before we get to the jury aspect of the game, I think it could really make people play hard this week, because they've got to realize, like, we're getting down to the numbers where probably next week is going to be announced, hey, this is now jury after this, because final 7, that makes sense. So I think people are going to be playing scared, but also be playing to save their lives in this game, especially Rachel. I think Keanu. So I think this exciting week is coming. I just want the right person to be in power so that it is guaranteed to be an exciting week, like a Keanu, a Rachel, a Morgan, what have you.
I agree. And the other thing you have to look at too is really when it comes down to I am tasting jury, it is almost here. I think everyone's going to go guns a-blazing for that HOH because you are guaranteed that safety for the week. You do not want to risk having to go up on that block, potentially having to potentially be the renom. We see how crazy hectic this game can be. So if I'm in the house, I'm going for the HOH no matter what. Even if I'm a Will, I'm going for the HOH. Will, do not throw the HOH. Go for it, buddy, because you might end up just potentially going home. You know, anything can happen. We've seen that sometimes with the votes. We've had not as many close votes, but when we do get a close vote, it's, oh shit, that person actually went home. We didn't see it coming necessarily.
And I want to give a quick shout out to Will and Ava, because I believe they already made jury. So quick shout out to them. Congratulations, because I don't think anyone's taking them out anytime soon. No. One last thing I want to bring up before, because we're getting towards the hour here. What did you guys think of Julie's questioning when she's talking to Catherine and being like, so what do you think the status of your relationship is with Riley when you get out of the house? And I'm just looking at my screen. I was live on Twitch. We were doing a watch party for it. And I was just like, did Julie really just ask about her relationship with Riley and if she could see anything outside the house? I was like, does Julie not know what's been transpiring the last week and a half with Riley? Like, why is that the question?
Riley finally got to do exit interviews via email. They were dropped this morning. I read them all. And rough. You can tell that they were heavily edited, someone at CBS had their hand in them. And it was very apology on chat GPT kind of written. And it was almost so sad to hear Catherine's responses, because when you like hear a girl say, again, he hurts me, he cheats on me, but my hoodie's in his car. And so even Julie looked at her and she said, oh, okay. But in her head, she was like, oh, baby, you have no idea. You got to go back and watch it. And I think it's hard that Catherine hasn't seen it either. It's hard to see when you're in it. And I think, again, she has to take a step outside of it and watch it back and be like, do you let men speak to you like that? Because if so, that's another issue we have to talk about.
I am bummed for one of two reasons. Catherine going here, I needed Catherine on the jury. I needed Catherine to have that space, the time away, because her going back to back, it's going to be chaotic for her. I just hope, get home to your family. Your family's got you, buddy, because I think for her sake, don't see him again. You just can't.
Wait, do you think they're going to postpone her exit interviews too?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I do as well.
And I think that it was just an inappropriate question for them to have Julie ask, because it was just a weird timing, especially when the freaking Riley interviews just come out today. You already like revamped that shitstorm by having him come out today of all days, and then to ask her, who she's unaware of everything that's going on in the outside, and to ask her, hey, do you see a relationship with Riley? How do you really feel about him? Like, it just felt inappropriate. It felt icky, right? Like, it felt icky. And I was like, this is not a normal Julie question. Like, we've seen Julie put people on the burner and be like, why did you do this? Or you made these kind of comments in the house. What was that about? But for her to kind of feed the fuel for maybe good TV, I just felt weird, and it felt out of place. Maybe I'm on an island over here, but I just didn't like it. And I was like, that just wasn't a good look for Big Brother.
Okay. I follow a bunch of the writers that do the exit interviews, and a week ago they posted by the end of the episode, they were like, yep, those interviews are going to be postponed, and none of them have put up anything so far. So I think they're going to have her do them, but at least I feel like she would be in a better position to do them with like a night of PR training. They can train her by tomorrow. Riley, that was about to be so bad. So like, honestly, I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you probably shouldn't. But I feel like they might be able to like angle the questions a different way.
We can hope. That's all we can hope for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, though,
because she hasn't seen the show. So I feel like she would be answering without the information.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is she was answering those questions with Julie with no information. So why, like, I feel like by tomorrow, she will get all the information she needs and probably be able to hear from her family and friends and get that side of the story too, as to what is really going on, because they're not going to just throw her to the wolves. But I just felt like the inappropriate question to be asking her was about a relationship with Riley after this week has transpired. Julie chose to evict sleeves on shirts. I agree. That's one thing you do notice week after week. But yeah, so it was a weird night. I don't know what else to say, but besides that, I really hope that this exciting week comes with, jury around the corner, people going at it. We got Angela coming back into the house on Wednesday, which
Phillip.
I brought this up on the live feeds, on the watch party I had earlier, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. We were talking about how Angela, what if she is actually the mastermind? Like, what's more terrifying?
Yeah, that has happened more than once in my head, and I was like,
what is more terrifying? The mastermind watching you sleep in your room, or Angela watching you sleep in your room? Like,
Angela's one of my least favorite players of all time. I have no doubt in my head, heart, and spirit that she's probably a great person outside of the game, but she's another one that I'm like, the way you came for people was rude. Like, I just have no room and space in my life for people that are like outwardly rude and mean. Then I'm like, nope. All right, I'm done.
Well, you go in one of two directions with that. I think either you love her or you just don't. I think there's no middle ground when it comes to a person like her.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see how this week plays out. Is there anything else you guys want to get into before we get out of here?
No, we talked Riley exit interviews. I did that. I read through those this morning, so I would be prepared in case. So that's done. No, I think we're good so far. I mean, this week, Ava looked like Mary Poppins for a solid half of the episode. I don't know how, but she looked like different versions of Mary Poppins. There was a hat, there was a scarf, there was a long dress thing that was happening. I'm not sure. If you asked me at the beginning, would I be rooting for Will or Ava? Absolutely not. But here we are.
All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm going live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. I actually might go live again tonight. We'll see if the wife lets me. Who knows? But we'll go live again tonight if we can. And probably discuss when the live feeds come back on. Hey, who's the new HOH? What's going to happen? What are people talking about? Probably do a live watch party while watching the feeds and come hang out with me and we'll discuss that. So I would love to have each and every one of you guys here, everyone listening after the fact. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Come over to my Twitch, do the same thing, give me a follow. It really helps me out. And next week we have Gabe's Big Move on Tuesday night. Definitely go check that out where Gabe breaks down the Survivor strategy and gameplay. And then what else? We have Naked and Afraid with Johnny Fairplay. So check that one out. And next Wednesday, we will have an NFL football preview show with Johnny, myself, and Gabe. So please check that out. We're very excited for football season starting next week. Can't wait for that. So we will have a weekly football preview show where we break down the week that is ahead of us for the NFL. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. So with everything we said, Phillip, thank you for joining me. Lauren, thank you for joining me. And we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.